the CEO of Tetra Informations, Mr. Mukul Mahajan. I hope you've been enjoying your day so far. Now, Mr. Mahajan is going to be telling on how to assess sustainability of open source solutions for your organization. All over to you, Mr. Mahajan.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Just to introduce, I'm Mukul Mahajan from Tetra Information Services. We have been working in the field of providing services on open source solution for almost 15 years now. We are more than 20-year-old organization, and today I'll be covering the topic how to assess sustainability of open source solutions for your organization. As all of us know, open source is in now. Nobody is asking whether open source is going to stay or not, because a lot of organizations today have started using open source. If we look at a few of the key points, if you look at the Gartner report, in next 3 to 4 years, more than 70% of the enterprises will increase the spending in OSS. That means more and more organizations are looking at open source as one of the options whenever they are going for new solutions. But even though the spend is increasing, still organizations are wary of adopting open source. Even they have a cost advantage because they are not clear about the sustainability of solutions being adopted. There are certain organizations where everything is in-house, which have large open source teams. There the issue is not there. But for any corporate, when they adopt any open source solution, even though it is free, they need to look at the long-term sustainability. So unless they're sure about it, they are very hesitant to adopt it. See, there is no one fit all strategy for adoption and sustenance of open source solutions. There are multiple strategies, and each strategy will have its own advantage and disadvantage, and that strategy will apply to a particular industry. So based on a type of industry, based on the volume, based on the solutions available, based on the cost, the strategy needs to be defined. Each strategy will have its own advantage and disadvantage, which need to be looked after by a particular industry. So to assess OSS adoption, we need to evaluate on case-to-case basis with meaningful, unbiased TCO and risk assessment. So we need to see the total cost of ownership. We need to see what are the risks, and based on that, we need to take the decision. So what are the key areas in which open source is getting adopted today? If you look at it, in infrastructure, there are a lot of open source solutions, like in network monitoring, you have Nagios, in mail server, you have Zimbra, on cloud, you have OpenStack. Application develop, there are a lot of open source stacks which are in view now, like LAMP is there, Mean is there, MERN is there, Cordova is there, Flutter is there. Then for DevOps, a lot of stacks are there: Kubernetes, Docker, GitHub, Jenkins, Prometheus. Most of the new databases which are coming up are open source, like MariaDB is there, PostgreSQL is there, MongoDB is there, and people are looking out from databases like Oracle, MS SQL, etc. Then analytics also open source is coming up in a very great way with the software like Grafana, Apache Spark, etc. Cloud-based solutions, almost all the areas in cloud-based, open source is one of the options, whether you take CRM, whether you take helpdesk, whether you take mail servers. Even now, ERP also, there are a lot of open source solutions have started coming up, which are cloud-based. So these are one of the key areas, but not all. There will be some other areas also. So why should any organization look for open source? See, you already have COTS-based solution available. So why should any organization adopt open source? So there are few parameters which need to be considered for adoption of open source. One, cost. Second, freedom and flexibility. Third, maturity of the solution. Fourth, talent retention. All the criteria might not be relevant to all the organizations. So for each organization, there are some criteria which will be relevant. So I'll look at the criteria now. So how should a company look at the cost as a criteria? any organization looking for open source adoption should look at the long-term cost of open source deployment. See, if you look at cost, there is one, if you look at FOSS, you can just download it and start using it. But that is not the final cost which is going to be incurred. Suppose you don't get support on that. So after a year, you will need to either throw that away, or you need to look at organizations who are providing support. At that time, management might ask that why was this not thought about at the beginning. So if it is perceived to be free, then you have to look at it a long-term cost, like at least for 5 years, to get a realistic idea whether cost saving is going to happen by adoption of the open source solutions. So what are the various costs which are incurred? So first cost is any open source you want to download and deploy, you will need a implementation and deployment cost, which might be done internally, or you might require a third party to get that implementation deployment done. If you're getting it done internally, then you need to see whether that manpower is sustained. Manpower can be sustained. If you are a small organization, SME organization, you might not be able to sustain that manpower for long term. Then development cost. If you are deploying any open source solution, you might want to customize it for your needs, which will incur a development cost. So the second cost is the development cost. Third is the support. If you deploy any open source based solution and you want to sustain it in long run, you need to pay a support cost to any third party vendor who can support that solution. So you have to take care of the support cost. Then fourth cost is the subscription. If you are looking for a supported open source, like you have Zimbra Professional, you have Red Hat, which is giving subscriptions, then you look at subscription. Because if you look at Red Hat charges 100% as the subscription cost. So when you are looking at cost, you should have a 5-year cost for the subscription. Then training. Whenever you are deploying any new services, you will require to train the internal team who is going to administer the software, as well as the external team who is going to use. Like if you want to deploy LibreOffice instead of MS Office. So LibreOffice will have at least 70 to 80% of the features of MS Office. But there are some features which might not be usable. So you need to train the users on LibreOffice, because the way LibreOffice works will be slightly different than the way MS Office works. So to put a summary, if you are adopting open source, does not mean that the cost will be lower. If you look at 5 years, the cost might be higher. You might get cost advantage also. And it does not necessarily mean that if the cost is higher, then you cannot deploy. There are cases where you deploy it because of cost. There are cases where you deploy it because of other means. But if you look at 5-year scenario, then at least you will know what is the cost advantage you are going to have. Then next is freedom and flexibility. There are certain cases where freedom and flexibility plays a very important role. So you have access to source code, like most of the e-commerce organizations which are coming up today, they're changing so fast that they cannot work with closed source. They're accessing open source even though the cost might be higher. Then you need to see the ability to self-support versus commercial support available. Either you should have the capability to support the solution internally for long term, with having a proper team and being able to retain the team, or you should be able to take the commercial support from outside. So you have to look whether you want to self-support or you want to have a commercial support. Then there should be ability to find multiple suppliers when needed for mature projects. If you're adopting any open source solution, you need to be sure that you will get supplier in long run. Like if you're adopting any new solution, which is just being adopted, and there are only 1 or 2 suppliers who are supporting it, then if that solution does not grow, then it might be difficult to get support from those solutions. and dynamic requirement. So there are certain organizations which will have dynamic requirement, where requirements will keep on changing. So frequent changes are required. So they will adopt open source due to freedom and flexibility. Then whenever you are adopting any open source solution, you have to look at solution maturity. There are lakhs of open source solutions which get into various repositories like GitHub every day. But all of them don't sustain. There will be only 5 to 10% which will be mature. So if you are adopting any open source solution, you have to look at the maturity of the solution. So first, the project that you're deploying, that project should be mature and should be supported by a lot of developers and should be supported by some key organizations. Then whenever you are deploying any open source solution, you have to look at the licensing. The licensing should not be too much restrictive. So licensing should be suitable to the needs of your organization. Then there should be availability of commercial third-party support options, and reasonable number of people should be there who can support the open source solution that you're adopting. Then even in open source, there are dual licensing models available where there is vendor lock-in. So you have to look at what are the vendor lock-in things which are there, and whether if you don't take support, you can still use those solutions or not. And next is transparency. There has to be transparency in open source of the solution you are adopting. It should not be that the other vendor is just using open source as a base, and then they are having their own codes and other things which you cannot use. And then ability to integrate. Any open source solution that you are adopting, you have to finally integrate it with the other solution. Like if you are deploying ERP, it has to integrate with CRM, it has to integrate with web, it has to integrate with social media. So now it is a world of integration. So any solution that you're adopting, it should be able to integrate with other solutions. There are some organizations which adopt open source because they feel that in open source, talent retention is better. There are developers who want to work on cutting edge technologies. There are developers who want recognition of contributions, and developers who want to innovate. These three things are not there in any closed source solutions. Innovation to a certain extent is there, but recognition of contribution is not there, which is there in open source technology. So there are a lot of large organizations like Google and all, where the code which is being developed by the developers, the contribution to the developer is there, and developers feel happy about it. So there is a lot of adoption in open source due to talent reduction. Then we'll talk of what are the risks of open source adoption. So based on the components that I have told earlier, we can make a risk profile of each open source solution which needs to be created. And what are the criteria for risk profile? The criteria can be quality of service. What is the quality of service that particular OSS is providing? Does the open source solution have a proper governance model in place? Means there can be some open source project which is just being handled by 2-3 people who feel they need to do something innovative, which will go into the market, but they don't have a governance model. So though the features of those solutions might be very good, but because of lack of governance model, there are chances that a proper support or a long-term sustainability of the solution might not be there. Then every organization need to look at OSS license compliance for their particular need. Like if you look at any telecom company, or you look at any government, or you look at any BFSI, they have a lot of license compliance issues. So they will only go for a supported open source, which is giving indemnity, which is giving timely updates, which is giving timely patches, which have 24/7 support available, which can commit that their solution will stay for more than 7 years. But all the organizations might not require those. The smaller organizations might not require, so they can go for a cheaper solution also. So OSS license compliance needs to be looked at. And then whenever you are adopting any open source solution, you have to look at any potential intellectual property infringement. Because if you are adopting any open source having intellectual property infringement, that might have a long-term issue. For smaller organizations, it is not there, but for large organizations, you can face challenges of intellectual property infringement. What are attributes for sustainable open source solution? The attributes of sustainable open source solution are availability of community support. If you want to adopt any open source solution, you should go to that solution, see what type of support is there, what are the organizations behind the open source solution, like if you look at Facebook, Google, IBM, Microsoft, they support a lot of solutions. If they are supporting the solutions, the chances are that the solution will stay in the market for long term. Then you have to look at whether sufficient community support is there. So you have to see that multiple people should be supporting that particular open source software. If the community support is there, then the solution will stay for longer. Then documentation. If you are adopting any FOSS, then you have to look at the documentation, and there should be good documentation which should be available. Then project should have a good ecosystem of developers, contributors, which I've covered in the community support also. If there are large contributors to any open source project, then the chances of that project being in field are very high. If there is a large system of developers, then the chances of that open source project are very high. Then there has to be transparent licensing model, which should allow reuse, redistribution if you are using it for commercial purpose. Otherwise, you might have those open infringement issues. Then, since it is open source, there has to be a proper security reporting with timely update patches, because today in internet world, especially in open source, security plays a very, very big concern, because everything is trying to be hacked. So there has to be a proper security reporting of the solutions which are there. Then we will look at the type of solutions which are available, and what type of industry would typically adopt those solutions. So there are, like, you have cloud-based solutions using open source. So typically they will be low-cost solutions. Like if you look at Zimbra has the open source version. So there will be vendors who will, using Zimbra open source, provide cloud-based solutions. There might be some issues in the features, but then they will be typically low cost. So these are typically being adopted by SMEs. Then you have supported open source, like Red Hat is there, Zimbra Professional is there, and Red Hat has a full bouquet of application. They are typically implemented by large industries who want a proper compliance, who want patches, who want timely update, who want proper indemnification from open source. So they are, so if you look at very large organizations, they will typically go for supported open source. Then BFSI, all the banking, finance clients, they are very largely into open source, but they go only for supported open source for compliance purpose. Then you have telecom. Telecom is also using open source very heavily, but they also go for supported open source for the same reason. Then you have a third category of users who are using FOSS solutions only, where they just download the solution and then they implement the solution using either third parties or their own internal teams, where cost is again low. SMEs use that a lot, and most of the education institutes are using FOSS-based solutions because of the typical nature of the education institutes, because they will have a lot of research people and the students will also do research. So they will typically download the solutions and start using it. Then the fourth category is in-house solution development using open source technologies. So lot of companies like defense normally uses open source because they want code to be available. There the internet is not available, so a lot of in-house solutions and customization is required. So they will typically use FOS solution downloaded with a lot of money and effort being put in the development. Then R&D organizations, many R&D organizations, because of data security, have started using open source a lot to deploy open source. And then cloud solution provider is the third category, who not only use open source, they contribute a lot to the open source. So if you look at Google, if you look at Facebook, they are one of the largest contributors of open source. And they contribute in the technologies which they use to give the solutions to the client. So this is the next category of users which is there. Then what is the way forward? Way forward is that based on the above, we need to have a open source document which should be made by an organization who want to adopt open source, clearly mentioning the advantages. What are the advantages in the if they deploy open source vis-a-vis closed license solution which is there? What are the risks? Like we are saying that infringement is a risk. The risk is that you might not get support in long run. So we have to clearly define the risks which are there. You have to understand the licensing policies of the solution. So whatever solutions are there, you have to understand that these are the licensing policy and are they aligned to the solution that we are offering. Then we have to look at the TCO of the solution. Like I had said earlier also, whenever you are deploying any solution, you need to look at the total cost of ownership in long run, so that the management is very clear about the cost advantages which are going to be there. And then any open source solution need to be aligned with the business. Like suppose tomorrow you want to deploy LibreOffice, which is office suite. While LibreOffice will have more than 80% to 90% of the functionalities, which will be typically used by 70 to 80% of the organization. If it is not aligned with the business people will not tend to adopt it. They will feel that they are being just forced with some free thing. So there has to be proper alignment from the top, the proper messaging which has to be given from to the business and IT, so that the deployment can be done. So this is all I have. If there are any questions, I would be open to answering any questions.
So one question coming up is digital economy like Bitcoin, Ethereum has got a lot of compliance and regulations. Can we expect India expecting these economics in post-endemic era, and would there be a role of open source in the same?
Yes, definitely. Any new technology which is going to come up, open source is going to play a very major role. But I have really not studied much about Bitcoin. So I'm not the right person to answer it at this moment. But any new technologies will definitely have, because open source is for any digital economy or any new technology, open source will be there. But Bitcoin, I will not be able to answer at this moment because I've not studied the topic.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Mukul sir. That's all for today. I'm sure we are excited for the panel discussion that you are chairing today from 4 to 5. I request the audience to join that too. So audience, we'll start again in some time. Mukul sir, any final words before we end this session for today?
So my final word is that open source is there, but we need to be diligent enough to adopt any open source technology so that the management taken is there for any technology. So there are many organizations who will just download something and start adopting that technology, and the management will feel that that is for free. And that becomes a problem in long run, because in long run, you are not able to sustain the technology. You might be dependent on one person who is there, who has joined as a developer. If that person leaves, that project also goes. So my final take would be that before adopting any technology, you need to look at long run, and you need to have a proper policy document of why you are adopting the technology. And second thing I would like to say is that cost is not the only reason. See, so much adoption at the level of Google, Facebook is not because of cost. Open source has many other advantages. It is not just free and open source. Open source has many other advantages. So you need to look at all the advantages before adopting open source. These are the two things which I would say as my ending words.
Perfectly summed up, Mukul sir. Thanks a lot for this session, and we will see you again at 4 today.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.